I'm Johnny and welcome back to A View to a Grill. Today we're going to be talking about hex logs put out by BlackBear charcoal. Today's video is going to be more about the charcoal than the cook. So you're going to see me cooking a few things, chicken and fajitas in this video, but we're not going to talk about the recipe. We are strictly going to talk about the performance of the charcoal. Now, hex logs. Now I'm going to take a wild guess and say that it's hex logs because it is a six-sided log. And as you can see, there is a hole straight down the middle of this charcoal, and that is to allow for better air circulation. Each one of these logs measures about 2¼ inches wide by almost 5 inches long. The box weighs in at 11 pounds, and there are 18 logs per box. Now let's go in and take a closer look and compare them to things that we already use for our charcoal grilling. Now you'll notice this close-up of the Kingsford briquette. There are some large cracks and imperfections on the surface of the briquette. It's not exactly smooth, but it is compressed very well. Now a closer look at the BlackBear hex log. Notice how smooth that is and how fine the cracks are. And where they break it apart at the end, it's a pretty clean break. It seems to me like it's a very dense charcoal. Now let's compare that to some hardwood lump charcoal. This is the Hickory B&B. Sort of a rough exterior, but that's what you would expect with lump charcoal. This is not a paid promotion. I saw the advertisement, and if you're like me, I like to play around with different types of things while I'm barbecuing because to me this is fun. I did exchange a few emails with Nicholas. Seems like a great family guy, and he's just a barbecue enthusiast just like we are, trying to start a new business for himself and his family. Now the BlackBear hex charcoal is made out of 100% coconut. The box claims that it burns long, burns pure, and burns hot. We're going to put that to the test. Also works well with any type of grill. It's consistent and efficient, reusable for multiple cooks, and charcoal taste, and it also claims to deliver the taste that we want from charcoal. Now on the website, it recommends that you use your normal chimney starter, and it gives you some optional ways of starting it. Today I'm going to use my Weber chimney starter, and we're going to just put in 8 logs. Since the box says it burns hotter and longer, I think 8 should be enough, or at least that's what I'm going with right now. I've already prepared my spatchcock chicken, and now let's get the logs lit up and get started. Now one thing I did notice while these were lighting up in the chimney starter was that the smoke was noticeably thinner than Kingsford. Now initially I did believe that these charcoal logs were fully lit, but in hindsight I probably should have let them go a little longer in the chimney starter. But apparently this new charcoal has a learning curve for me. Now, when I stack these logs up, I put them a little too close to the center of the Weber kettle. I had to pull the chicken off and restack the logs because I didn't want the chicken to be over the charcoal. This is an indirect cook. And today we're going to use the Inkbird IBT4XS to monitor the temperature of the cook. We'll have the top vent and bottom vent wide open. So after about 15 minutes of cooking with the lid on and both vents wide open, I was having a little bit of trouble of getting the temperature above 286 degrees. So at that point, I figured I needed to add more charcoal. I did a little math. See, 286 degrees divided by 8 logs, 35.7 degrees each. So 2 times 35.75, I don't know, gets me 71. Gets me 71.5. Add that to 286. That'll get me to about 357, right? Now, is that scientific? Man, I don't know. But it made sense at the time, so that's what we're going with. Put 2 more logs in the chimney starter, and I needed this quick, so I put 2 cubes under those logs, and I went out and got my Oklahoma Joe fire starter. Got them both lit and added them to the Weber kettle. With the top and bottom vent wide open, my math was off because I did get up to 376 degrees after I added those 2 logs. Now the chicken cooked nicely and it's time to take it off. Now at this point is where I realized where my mistake was in the initial 8 log setup. Look at the fire now. This sucker is roaring. I closed the lid, measured the temperature, and it actually got up to over 400 degrees after I let the charcoal get fully lit. Now let's talk about the flavor it left on the chicken. The flavor is different. It is kind of different, not in like a negative way, but it's different as oak leaves a different flavor than hickory, and that leaves a different flavor than pecan, and that leaves a different flavor than mesquite. Now, some people like one over another. So you may like, or for instance, I like hickory more than I like mesquite. As a matter of fact, I like everything more than mesquite. Not a mesquite guy. So you're gonna have to determine whether or not this is a flavor that you like. I will say that the flavor that this gives is a lot lighter than any of the other hardwoods that I use. Now we're not done yet, so stick around because the box says we can use this multiple times. So I am going to go ahead and shut down the top and bottom vent, snuff out the fire, and use it again the next day. Here we are the next morning. You can see that the logs pretty much held up. They're still in the shape they were yesterday. So that's pretty impressive. Now I reuse all of my unburnt charcoal, so this isn't anything new for me. I'm going to shake off all the ash and see how much usable charcoal I have left. Now you see how this looks in the Weber chimney starter. There's still a lot of charcoal there left. So I'm not going to add any charcoal to the next cook. But I am going to add some hickory wood chunks. I'm going to use this charcoal just like any other charcoal. So tonight we're having fajitas. And when I cook fajitas, I add real wood chunks to the fire. We'll get these lit up, and I'm also going to leave them in the chimney starter a lot longer this time. I am also going to use the slow and sear today. I'm not going to restack these charcoal logs. I put a bed of hickory chunks on the bottom of my slow and sear, and I'm just going to dump these right on top. And as you can see, the fire is plenty hot enough to get a nice dark crust on the outside of those fajitas. The fajitas are done. I got them off the grill, and this is what the charcoal looks like now. I'm going to close all the vents and let the fire snuff itself out. Now here we are the next day, and there are some large chunks left that I still can use. And I'll just add those to my Weber chimney starter where I have some other unused or unburnt charcoal. The rest of this at the bottom of the slow and sear, however, I will be throwing away. These chunks are just a little bit too small for me to use. And if we take a look at the ash, not much ash. So it does have a clean burn, and the logs are very efficient. Now if this hits all of your check boxes, eco-friendly, low smoke, low ash, no sparks, if that's what you're looking for, then you might want to try the BlackBear barbecue hex logs. Thank you for watching A View to a Grill, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Take care, y'all.